What's up, guys? This is Acidic Roots. It's time for part 7 of Let's Play Super Mario Bros. 2. So obviously this game pulls out all the stops at this point. You're going to be encountering some stuff that's going to maybe cause you a bit of grief, but depending upon how skilled you are, you may be able to get it done. Now, Wart, I'm gonna let you know, I was thinking of trying to do something special for the Wart fight, just because I wound up taking like 30 hits. You know how you're only allowed to take 2, 3, or 4 hits? Well, I took like 30 because I used a Game Genie, and I was thinking about doing something special in order to reward people for going through that. Obviously, I've seen Let's Players do contests where you leave comments and then they mail you something, but at this point in time, I don't really know what would be sufficient for some sort of contest. And I mean, I'm not gonna go out and buy video games to mail people, but at least not at this point in time. But I do want to do something fun and unorthodox and random for this. Obviously, this only really gives me a week or two to think about it, but yeah. So in any case, the princess is having difficulties, and we've just got to obviously, if you take the potion, I'm pretty sure if you take the potion over here, you will get a mushroom, and I think I was like, screw it, I need that mushroom. Oh, but of course I have to go into the pipe in order to get it, and I think I might wind up taking a hit or two, so. Alright, so I'm trying to think of certain events that have been going on for me. I've been watching some LPers, and I've been watching the video game Sim City at this point in time, and I almost felt like doing it a few years in the future. I mean, obviously that sounds kind of distant, but it's a pretty interesting game. I'm curious as to whether or not I could actually handle getting it done. I bought Mortal Kombat. I got that as a gift, so that's a whole nother thing. That Mortal Kombat was a gift, and I'm going to do that game. And luckily, I have the Nintendo Power that was affiliated with that Mortal Kombat when it came out, which was like late 1993 when it came out. So I have the magazine that had the coverage of it, and I'm gonna show some stats because it shows the characters, the 7 characters in Mortal Kombat. It shows how old they are, and it's got some artwork that's pretty nice. So you learn just about, you know, what information about them. Obviously, you could always go to Wikipedia or the Mortal Kombat wiki or something like that, but, you know, it's just extra. I feel like, you know, the standard just doing an LP, you know, this was probably something new and that sort of thing back in 2007, 2008, so anything that you can do that's original, I've realized helps. You know, there's so many folks, like, I've seen a video, like, just some random junk in Banjo-Kazooie, and the stuff has, like, you know, 45,000 views on it, and all they're doing is just showing the intro sequence or something, so have to kind of look at that, but regardless, we're going to get into a fight here, and this is the toughest form. You're going to be seeing this enemy a few more times, and Shields, well, there's Billy. He's kind of the catalyst in this situation. So, it's funny how the stage 1 boss gets progressively harder. You wouldn't think that would happen. But the problem is there's not really a pattern to how this enemy shoots the fireball. Sometimes it'll shoot 3, and then other times it'll shoot 2 to throw you off. So the idea is that you have to be pretty attentive. But I'm fairly certain I can beat this. You know, well, obviously I did, but I don't know if I got game over again or not. So another game I'm thinking about doing is F-Zero. I want to do that game, but I want to start doing some of those games like Top Gear, some racing games, just to do some extra stuff. I mean, racing games were kind of meh on the Super Nintendo, but I suppose some of them do have their charm. I mean, that's about the only problem, is just me trying to figure out if I'm ever going to move past the Super Nintendo. I might have said this before, I've thought about it, but I just don't know what sort of short games came out for later consoles, and that's the problem, is I want to do it, but I don't want to go through the harassment of having to update a game for 16, 22 parts. So, it's been said, you know, in YouTube advice, they say if you're doing one thing, you know, that's what you need to be doing, instead of trying to be super multifaceted. But that doesn't mean you can't have a second trade. You know, that's the whole thing. You can definitely, I mean, whether you consider these things I'm saying pointers or not, most of the time, it's just better to make a second channel. And I've thought about that, which I've actually done, but I don't want to have 4 or 5 channels either. So, I mean, I pretty much consider my video game, my Acid Roots video game channel, to just be retired at this point. There's really no reason for me to continue updating unless I just get like a huge video game obsession. But this, you know, video games on the blog channel is going to suffice, and I just have to find the right games to do. So what that means for you guys is obviously you're going to be seeing some old school stuff. I mean, it just depends. I mean, with all the folks getting sick of all the, you know, all the Uncharted's and all the Last of Us and Walking Dead's and Resident Evils and all these sorts of games, I mean, might as well go back to Super Mario once in a while. That's the whole thing I thought about the entertainment industry also. Like, really, your standard celebrity, you think, you know, maybe someone like Will Smith isn't playing video games, but what about Macaulay Culkin? You know, guy from Home Alone, you know, it's been 20 some odd years since he's been in a feature film, and really, this makes you wonder if he has Super Nintendo or what the hell he's doing. It's the same thing. I mean, there's so many women in the game. You could say someone like Khloe Kardashian too. I mean, Khloe Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Natalie Portman. If any of these women give a damn about the standard video game, it's kind of ridiculous. But we need to bring video games back. In other words, that's the point I'm trying to say, is we need to make these shits popular. I like Netflix as much as the next person, but, you know, really, these shits can be entertaining. We've got to get past video games, you know, old school being 2012. I mean, Minecraft is becoming an old school game, so it's just like so much shit that goes on. I don't know if they're making like expansions to Minecraft. The point being, you know, today's young generation, people who are 16 or 17 today, are saying 2012 was light years ago. It's like I remember, you know, for me, the Super Nintendo is what stands the test of time. I remember back in like 2003, 2004, when there was like the resurgence of the Nintendo, and you could buy like 1-Up Mushroom shirts and Starman shirts and all sorts of Nintendo memorabilia, or however you say it. But the whole thing about that was it didn't really mention the Super Nintendo, and that was just kind of got, I mean, the Nintendo at that point in time was like 15 years old, 2003, so, or actually it was more like 20 almost. But obviously what I was trying to do is I was trying to get the extra mushroom, but it's just too convoluted to really do it. I mean, you have to piece together, you can't screw up the bomb placement, you really have to know what you're doing. So, I'm fairly certain I'd die here. I think these little spider enemies give me some issues. And I was trying to figure out, like, I've really been trying to find new Super Nintendo games that actually besides the Marios and Zeldas and Donkey Kongs. I've been trying to find some of the ones that I actually have never played in my life but are still interesting. That happens to be the problem, is, you know, I've played Mortal Kombat dozens of times, I've played Super Mario World dozens of times, I've played shit like that, Zelda, all these types, but I can't really. SimCity was a win for me last month when I found out about it. Old World Gamer, who's a Let's Player, did that, and I've been hooked on it ever since, but it's just been tricky trying to find other games that are worthwhile. I want to eventually move to the PlayStation. I mean, that's a goal of mine, is to do things. I've also been trying to watch the Tomba Let's Play, but the whole thing with that is, I don't know if I would actually like the game. I mean, it feels pretty approachable, it feels just like a Mario game, but at the same time, I'm hoping that it's actually kick-ass. But then they made a sequel, so, I mean, I may be rambling now, but, you know, these are actually, obviously this could help you guys out too. You gotta, you know, PlayStation, I don't know, I don't really see too many folks remembering the PlayStation that well. I mean, that's going on 20 some odd years. Final Fantasy VII's getting ready to be 20 years old. So PlayStation days 20 years ago, PlayStation 2 is almost 20 years ago. And, you know, we gotta pay homage to this. I mean, it's essential. You can't not pay homage to the PlayStation. So many people love the PS4. It's like, that's fine and dandy, but you gotta go back to your roots. You know, of course, Acidic Roots is in my name, so you'd think that I would have no problem doing that, but I mean, it stands to reason. Was it just me, or did I hit that boss 2 times? I could have sworn I hit that enemy 2 times and shit. But yeah, you just have to. I mean, you have to pay homage to the PlayStation. It's not, I mean, I don't really talk about Sony that much because I don't like some of their marketing decisions, things that they do, the choices they make, the demographic they attempt to have. But, you know, I do respect the things that they have done. You know, definitely PlayStation 1 and 2 I fuck with. But to be honest, I never really jumped on the PlayStation 3 train. And from there earlier, I said, well, if I didn't like the PS3, the PS4 is just the older brother of that, so. But I'll pretty much ride with the Xbox for a long time unless they just stop having good games. It seems like Microsoft was a force to be reckoned with, but now it isn't. It's just like, it's just for super hardcore or whatever, so there really hasn't been a game that's been exclusive. I mean, obviously, now I sound like a junkie or something, but I mean, it just sucks that the Xbox is playing third fiddle. There's not even... Nintendo is definitely not second fiddle, if you're thinking I was going to say that, so it's just like Sony is first and second fiddle, and Microsoft would be a distant third, and Nintendo would be like a distant sixth. And the Wii U and every other machine it's had only has like 10 good games for it, so... Yeah, this boss is a pain in the ass. I mean, I'm just gonna let you know, if you happen to ever get to this boss, if you decide to play this game, or if you have played this game, this is one of the most nefarious bosses in Super Mario Bros. 2. This placement is aggravating. Then you couple that with the fact that its attack pattern is so... I mean, Nintendo knew what they were doing. They knew, okay, he's gonna shoot 3 fireballs, I'll just attack after 3 fireballs. They made sure that you couldn't guess the patterns. So, that's what makes this game challenging, is you have to really guess the algorithm in order to do it. Sometimes I know impatience sets in. That compounds the situation, but... did it, and I'll tell you, I was my brow was sweaty when I did this. I was like, God damn it, if I lose, I'm not gonna be happy. But alright, so that's part 7. There's no hissing. Hurrah! Subscribe for more fun.